Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Passing Dimes. We're an official show now because we have an international team. This is our first non-Canadian guest. Thanks to some messaging from Grant O'Gorman, we made some connections here. So we're here with Estonia, and this is going to be a good episode because there's such a strong Estonian culture in the volleyball community. We have the Sora family, we have the Poldmas, and I believe the Valius family was cheering you guys on here in Edmonton. So I'd like to welcome to the show the team of Tiisaar and Nolvak. Welcome, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
What was it like your first time playing in Canada?
Oh, it was nice. Yeah,
It's always nice when you start winning.
yeah.
I haven't had a bad vibe tournament where I win some matches. So,
Yeah, you're right.
but Canadians, they're super friendly, help with everything. That's always so good extra and so nice. Feel very welcome and warm, and of course especially the Alias family. They were cheering for us all week. That was so cool.
Estonian flag and everything, and the cheers.
In every match there was Estonian flag.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. They were following you around.
Yeah.
That's great. So we should mention you guys took a 5th place finish, which I believe at a 3-star match is your personal best.
Yep.
So what kind of prep went into this tournament, or how do you think you accomplished that result?
Oh, I would say it's long work in a way that the season is very long. You prepare for the season, not for the one tournament. And I think every season we have just got more experience, get better understanding what the beach volleyball game actually is and how to play it.
Yeah, we never really focus on one tournament. It's you never know what kind of tournament you get many games or you get you get one game. So it's so what did I want to say here?
that for physical, that you don't need to save yourself that I'm gonna play for a full week now, because you never know. You might play just one match in qualifications and then you're done. So it's hard to prepare. Yeah.
That's true. We've talked to some Canadian teams about that. Do you guys feel like you have a different mindset if you're in the qualifier versus in the main draw? Is there just a little bit extra pressure of traveling to an international tournament, maybe playing one match? Does that change your prep a little bit?
We would like to treat it the same,
Yeah.
but it is somehow different because it is a bit more pressure.
The loss is always bigger when you go, of course, all the cost, and then you get to play just one match. For example, if you lose in the first round in qualis, you get no prize money, no accommodation or anything, and also the point loss can be big for the entry ranking. So the pressure is there. Cannot go so wrong when you're in main draw already.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I didn't realize there was so many layers to it. When you unfortunately do lose in a qualifier, are you the type of team that stays at a tournament and finds a way to train, or do you guys leave right away? What do most teams do on tour, do you think?
It depends for us too. Sometimes we stay, sometimes we go. It's depends how far is it from Estonia. And because here in Canada, okay, we were in main draw too. We bought the tickets day after the finals. But in Europe, we usually we have this cooperation with a travel agency in Estonia, so we can postpone our tickets.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, that helps out. It costs some money, and it depends on what kind of seats are available. So
it's quite expensive still, but in a way it depends. There's also many layers, I think, because usually in the main draw first 2 or 3 days there's not so much opportunity to practice. Even the courts are full, matches are on, and if there is somewhere else to go, for example, if you're on 2 and 3 different stops, then of course we stay until the end.
yeah, it depends.
Now, when you guys were looking at your schedule for the season, why would you say choose to come to Edmonton at 3-star instead of maybe staying in Europe and going to Portugal to 4-star? What goes into a pro player's decision making when tournaments overlap like that?
Mm-hmm.
We were about to start in qualifications in Estonia. We would have been maybe 2nd or 3rd seed, so still good chance to advance. But we didn't have too many tournaments in June and July, so we felt it's better to get more matches and straight in main draw and get it for maybe boost the confidence a bit if they get some wins, and I think that's what it did.
Yeah, because we're gonna play 5 stars. We did play in Stad, and we're gonna play in Vienna, and possibly Rome too. So we have quite a lot of qualifiers. So it was like to optimize the risk a bit, because if you lose like I don't know, first round in qualis and like many tournaments in a row, so you go down in ranking. It's not so easy.
You could lose like 90% of your points.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it would be bad.
2 months. So,
And what are your thoughts on the schedule overall? That there's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's 3 5-star tournaments this year, and then a bunch of 4 stars, and you guys have played some 3 stars. Does that go into your planning as well? That you really focus on building in the 5 stars into your schedule, or how do you guys kind of view the schedule as a whole? Because it starts so early with the Hague 4-star in January, and it goes. You can play till November, I think, this year with the Mexico 4-star, right? So, how do you guys like to plan your time and kind of pick which events you're going to? And like you said, maybe being in the qualifier, the main draw influences a decision, or what else do you guys like to think about?
the travel costs.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah, always.
And it depends, like how well do we do in the previous tournaments? Because if we start with the 3 stars and we start winning, we get like a 5th place and a 9th one. Then we want to get on maybe like the higher tournaments. So we'll go on to the 5 stars.
It's actually quite, I don't know, for me it's quite funny, this optimization that goes on, because there's so many tournaments, actually, like 11 4 stars this year, and like not every team goes to all of them. So a little bit check gas, like where are you going, because we are on the line there, that maybe sometimes we get even main draw to 4 star, we have been like straight. So yeah, that's this optimizing. But yeah, 5 stars, there's so much points that if to play qualification, then the level is almost the same for 4 star and 5 star.
Yeah.
Players are all the same, but the point gain is so much better. So rather we play qualifications in 5 star.
Right, because if you win a first round qualifier to 5 stars, sometimes that's a big boost in points, right? Like that.
Yeah, well, it's not a boost in points, but it's already like doesn't take away any points. Like,
right.
Let's say second round in qualis in 5 star is same as advancing from pool here and losing in first round.
Right.
So it's still not like so much points. But yeah.
You're right, though. It could be worth the risk to go to that and maybe stay neutral or level on your points,
exactly.
right? Thanks to Dallas, who prepared me for some notes for this episode. It looks like you guys have played around or over 30 tournaments together. But what I'm learning about Estonia is it sounds like everyone plays indoor volleyball first. Is that true? And if so, what age did you guys start playing volleyball?
That is true. Indoor is a lot bigger than beach, because we don't even have like a beach volleyball system. But I started. My mom's a volleyball coach, so I started pretty early. But in fact, I wasn't too into volleyball at first. I did all kinds of athletics and football and swimming and tennis and all kinds of stuff. But volleyball, maybe I was like 13, something like this. Yeah, so not too early. You started even later, right?
That's really weird, because now when I hear your story, my story is identical.
Yeah.
Because my mom is also like a physical education teacher.
Yeah.
So that's weird. So it's my story as well.
Wow, very cool. And what is the system? So in Canada, typically people start volleyball through like a school system. They might start in like a phys ed class, and they might play for the school team, and then they go on to play like at a rep level, like teams outside of school. Are you guys through the school base, or is it through clubs, or how serious does volleyball get, and around how young do you start going to competitions and stuff?
It's mostly through clubs, because in schools we don't in my school we didn't have
no, there is no this kind of school system.
Yeah.
Only clubs. Even for youngsters, there's clubs. So so there's like, let's say, under 14 years old, and but you still it's a club team. It's not a school team.
Yeah.
So whatever. But that's how it advances. Yeah, you go to club, you start playing like quite early. You can start playing to like tournaments.
Yeah, maybe it's
indoor.
even under 12.
Under 12 even.
Competitions
maybe.
like
Some different rules maybe, but yeah, there is. And then there is Pro League, which helps a lot.
Yep.
Like I was last year in high school when I got to Pro League team.
Yep.
Then also throughout the university, played in Pro League indoor in Estonia.
Yeah. We played together for how many years?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Indoor too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were technically a professional athlete while still in high school playing volleyball in the pro league, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many how many teams would be in the Estonian like professional league, and is there a foreigner rule? Like how many people? Like most leagues have 2 or 3 spots, or what would your league be like?
There is no foreigner rule in Estonia, but how many teams? 6 or something?
It's like actually Baltic League, so it's together with Latvia.
Oh,
so
I
like,
see.
yeah, like 5 to 6 teams from Estonia and 4 teams from Latvia, usually
Yeah.
something like this.
Yeah.
10 to 12 teams.
And would you have foreigners on your team, or is it mostly Latvians and people from Estonia?
There was foreigners actually.
Yeah.
The league takes every team wants to have like some decent foreigners, and
Yeah.
the level is quite okay actually.
Good.
We had an Estonian Canadian in our team.
Oh, really? Do you remember their
Yeah.
name?
Sander Ratsep.
Yeah. Greetings to Sander.
Sander Ratsep.
Yeah.
So yeah, from London, Ontario, and played at Dalhousie University. Yeah, that's great. I didn't know that. So yeah, another great Estonian family who loves volleyball in
Yeah.
Canada here. There's so many. It seems like if you're Estonian, you like volleyball.
It is our national sport right now, like almost.
Good.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah,
that.
your indoor teams are doing well.
Yeah.
they are.
So what made you guys switch to the beach game then? If kind of indoor is what everyone plays, and you were playing at a very high level as soon as high school, right? What kind of made you try this beach thing?
It was funny. It was funny. We were both in the national team for the indoor volleyball, and we started. We were together in the same room. We started watching like a lot of beach volleyball videos. Like I don't know what tournaments we were on at that time, but it's the game was like more attractive, and the lifestyle was like more attractive to us, and it was the feeling that when you play indoor, then the management stuff does all the thinking and the work like for you. We were like wanting to do something like else too, rather than just playing volleyball. So it's a bit of like becoming an entrepreneur when you start like playing beach in Estonia.
Yeah, in Estonia, there's, I think, very many pieces like fell together like at the right time, so that made us switch. Somehow grew a little bit bored indoors. Of course, we had played beach like during summertime as well, and loved the game. But also, like there was this one team, basic guys, who played beach, like played in Olympics, and basic was about to retire as well, so there was like no team playing World Tour anymore. So everything like fell together like one day like, during the national team season. We're like secretly talking to okay, we start playing beach from September, and we did. So that was actually quite a story.
And was there anything that made you kind of hesitate? Because like you talked about, indoor is very organized. They book everything for you. You know what time the meal is. Where beach, you guys are 100% on your own. You're booking everything. You mentioned you have a travel agent, but it's still you kind of deciding the schedule. Was there ever a moment you're kind of like, oh, I think we made a mistake? Like the beach lifestyle wasn't as great as you thought it was, or did it all kind of work out for you guys?
It did kind of work out, like surprisingly well. We found like a lot of good companies who support us now, and we found them quite easily actually. Yeah, we did kind of put in some work, but it was
surprisingly.
We got lucky. Yeah.
I don't know if lucky, but yes, like surprisingly many people like the idea and the story that, of course, you're actually like you have all doors open indoors, but you want to do what's in your heart, and then they start supporting us, and like sponsors came behind us, and they still are, and liking what we're doing, and so we have been able to play beach now like as professionals for it's our 4th year already.
Yeah.
And what would be your affiliation with the national team? Obviously, they support you to travel, but does the national team have a training facility that they supply you with, a coach, or are you completely on your own and you just represent Estonia on the World Tour, and that's about as far as it goes? Like, how much structure do they provide for you?
Well, we don't have a national team.
Oh, okay. So you are the national team.
So we are the national team.
So we can call ourselves the national team if we want to.
So pretty much we do all our financing ourselves, all our funding, and find our own coach, figure out how much we can pay him, and stuff like this.
And where we can train.
This all happens.
So who do you train with? Is there another team from Estonia, or do you guys have to travel? Do you maybe train a lot with Latvia because they're close, or what are your options? I guess I'm kind of blown away that you're doing so well on the world tour, where your country technically doesn't have a program, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have a program. We've been training with all kinds of guys. At the first years, we had training camps in like the whole winter. We were in Thailand and Australia, and we got like a lot of training camps. Right now, during the summer, we have some guys to train with because the indoor guys are at the beach, so it's easier. But during the winter time, it's not so easy. So it's like every winter we figure out the plan with the competitions and the camps, and sometimes we're trained by ourselves, do like some technical stuff and physical stuff, and then we combine. We figure out it every year by year.
There is plenty to do actually. Like just two of us with a coach as well. So much details and nuances and stuff in beach volley that can do plenty of practice like this. But also we have Finland quite close. 2 hours with ferry.
Yep.
Sometimes we take a day trip there. That in the morning we have breakfast in the ferry, have 2 practices, and then come back.
Yeah.
Or Latvia, 4-hour drive.
Yep.
Good teams there.
And is your coach currently from Estonia? And do they travel with you at all, or?
Yeah, from Estonia. Sometimes he comes with us.
Yeah, this is so funny because in Canada we have a few streams where we have athletes who are independent, or some teams have personal coaches, or some teams work with the federation that supplies like a facility to train with, a strength and conditioning coach, coaches, and everything. Where I think the next time one of them complains, I'm just going to use you guys as an example. You do everything on your own. You guys, is it true you found your own sponsors then? Like you're totally independent on every layer of everything you do.
Pretty much.
Yeah. This year was the first year when federation actually gave us also money, but there was pretty much like they also like sponsored us in a way that they didn't put us any strings. They're like, okay, we would like to also support you, and of course they have supporting us with the help and like they're happy that we're doing this. But haven't had any funds. Everything goes to indoor. But now they gave us a little part of their budget. So that was really good.
And with you guys playing at home during FISU games and with your success on the World Tour, have you noticed a change? Or is there youth competitions, or are there any kids who want to grow up and play beach volleyball because they see you guys as role models, or is there anything at maybe the grassroots that's going to build up a program in Estonia?
Definitely, yeah. I would say definitely. This year has been awesome already. Like I don't know, 3 times more amateur tournaments held in Tallinn. Youngster teams now are not only playing because there's like some youngsters program, meaning that they train during summer 2 months, like together for some underage championships. Yeah. But then they go back indoor. But now there's at least a thought that maybe there's possible to choose. Maybe it's an option.
Yeah, because before, like I don't know, a few years ago, no one was even thinking that it's an option to like start playing only beach volleyball. It was all indoor.
Wow, and we mentioned you guys travel a lot on the World Tour, but is there any domestic competitions you guys can play, or do you play kind of like a continental circuit, or what do you do when you're not traveling on World Tour to find matches and meaningful competitions?
Yeah, we have played Estonian Tour. There's the Estonian Tour, like 6 or 5, something like this.
5 stops.
5 stops, yeah. All around Estonia. They're actually pretty nice. The center courts are like at the city centers, which are quite nice. We have played. The level is not so good. We played in Latvia. Latvia has like a lot better level. So these two mostly. Last year we went to Finland also once to play a Finnish national tour.
Mostly we have still found ways to go to World Tour and play there.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I see also right now. Little off topic.
Yeah.
But I find right now that whenever there's like 1 or 2 star in Europe, the reserve list goes like, I don't know, there's always like 30 teams in reserve. Because like everybody who doesn't have points, they would like to get some games. So it's really hard to get them 1 or 2 stars. And it's so much easier to get to 4 star, for example, because people, they don't want to go there, they don't want to lose points, and like not so strong teams, they don't bother. It's just expensive, and they know they're not going to get on. So also for us, when we started, we had 0 points. And the only place where we could start was like the highest level tournaments, because there was like empty spots, majors pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good example, I guess, for our listeners, because we're mostly based in Canada. Like, how easy is it for you guys to travel? Like, what would you say would be the major tournaments that are so popular, like you said, because they're 1 and 2 stars, because there's so many teams available? Like, is there all of Europe? You guys would just teams from maybe who aren't considered like pro teams who wouldn't think of going to a 4-star would sign up for a 1 or 2 star? Like, how broad is Europe? Or maybe there's people who aren't considered full time, but maybe would sign up for a professional tournament. Like you mentioned, that happens a lot on the men and women's side. So
a lot can happen. Yeah. In Europe, the tournaments are full. They're so full, like the 1 and 2 stars.
If you want to play World Tour, go to China.
Yeah. Then you can
then you can
get to any tournament.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And is the CEV circuit still really strong, or have those promoters changed those into 1 or 2 stars? Like, is there a lot of tournaments still in the CEV technically, or?
I think it's all World Tour now.
That's none. So that's a little pity for us, because we cannot play this risk-free tournaments, because the Continental Tour, it didn't count as this part of this last 6 tournaments that will go to the century ranking system. So now there's only FIVB tournaments. So even if you want to play some 1 or 2 stars, just to play like as you could in CEV, then you cannot anymore.
We could if Estonia hosted one. Yeah.
Well, of course you can play, but there's like no point.
Yeah.
Right now, if you win a 1 star, you still lose points.
Right, with the level you guys are at.
Yeah.
Is that an option? Do you think Estonia would host a World Tour event eventually? Like,
We're hoping.
Yeah.
Hoping maybe someday.
I think you're getting there one day. Seems it's getting more and more popular, and they also like what we're doing.
Well, they just added Latvia to the schedule. Is that correct? So
Yeah.
Latvia will host a 3-star.
Yeah.
Awesome. So friends and family, I assume, will watch that one, and that will be a big deal for you guys.
Oh, yeah. I think lots of Estonians coming.
Do you know the date for that one?
End of
22nd, 25th, maybe.
August.
August, yeah.
August.
Great. Yeah, I'm still amazed by this, that you don't have a lot of training opportunities. You mentioned that without CEVs, you don't have a lot of less pressure competitions. So in an ideal world, what do you guys see, I guess, in the next few years that could help with Estonian volleyball? Or is training camps the best way you guys can do it, and that's how you find ways of getting better? Like, I'm fascinated by it. It requires so much planning and preparation for you guys just to find a training camp, right? So is there a base coming up that maybe more indoor players would transfer from Estonia now that you guys have kind of paved the way? Or are you guys fine with the camp model that you're in right now?
We tried, actually. This year, we helped 2 indoor guys to enter into World Tour. We a little bit financed their travels and their summer, so they could practice with us full time. So we were with them 3 months, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they're both going back indoors still for this year. So maybe one day it would be really good if there would be a few more teams to practice with us daily. It would help a lot for sure.
But right now it's a lot easier than when we started, because when we started, then we didn't know anyone on the World Tour, so it was and no one knew us. It was just some 2 indoor guys coming, and if we wanted to have a training camp, we didn't even know who to ask, and no one would want to train with us. Because right now it's easier. Yeah.
Also, maybe thank you, Martin Splavins, who first time when we started playing, we knew him from indoors a bit.
Yeah.
And we knew that he was Olympic bronze and everything, but then we just said, hey, we're starting playing beach, can we come practice with you?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
And he said, okay. Yeah.
Oh, they were very inclusive. That's great.
Yeah. So we went to Riga and played with them.
It was actually a funny camp, the first one. We went to Riga, played with them, and there was also Vensten and Moll there, really young. And then we were there together starting beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Years after, we're like, is this the same guy? So blocking everybody out, it's the same guy.
Wow. Do you think there could ever be a model where somebody plays professional indoor and then maybe just plays summer on the World Tour? Or are the points too difficult to get? Or would a pro team allow their athlete to maybe play beach for half the season? Is that maybe an option that your country could start turning out more beach players if they allow them to do both? Or is there too much risk involved there?
It's usually the summers are filled with the national team.
Oh, that's right too.
And camps, and the better ones are there.
I think the game is so different that if you just come from indoors,
it takes
just
time.
play throughout the summer, you don't get there. Maybe somebody does, but it's not so easy. At least I have figured that 3-4 years, and now maybe finally I'm starting to feel like, okay, I'm getting what the game is in the beach, because first 2 years really didn't understand what's going on.
But maybe if you start from beach and then you go indoor, maybe it's easier. I don't know. Yeah, don't have the experience.
Do you have an example of what you just talked about there? Like, what was the biggest change after 2 years? Was it just experience, or was there some tactics that you finally accepted and adopted, or I guess what kind of started making you feel more and more comfortable with your beach game coming from indoor?
I would say like there's so many things. Starting with the handset, for example, totally different approach to the attack, because I was opposite, so pretty much I had like coming like 4 meters running and jumping 2 meters like in front to hit it like from the back line. But here it's totally different. You go slower, you jump more up. So even this like physically takes time to adjust, and then just the psychological part that you are there, and it's, you cannot say to the coach that, hey, give me substitution, or to the setter that, hey, don't set me the match ball. I don't feel so confident right now. If you don't feel confident, you're gonna get the ball.
Exactly.
So that's a whole different world.
Yeah. Dealing with the weather and the wind and the travels and like.
And for example, another one, if you go like indoor competition, you know that, okay, you know a week ahead that I have match at this time and I have training at that time, like, and you know also you know when you eat. But here you don't know who do you play actually, what time can you practice. We couldn't. Kusti's plane got cancelled, so he got here like 1 day late. Then we couldn't practice because of the lightning, so we had zero practices before the tournament here. So,
and it worked out, so maybe you'll do that from now on.
And actually, it was so long travels that almost, I think, 5 or 6 days you didn't do a practice before the tournament started. So that's every time it's so different. You need to adjust so much.
Good. You listed some great things for what the difference is for beach and indoor. Is there anything that you would encourage maybe a youth athlete that really wants to play indoor, but you think beach could complement their game? Like, is there any skills that go the other way that beach would make them a better indoor player because of these things?
Definitely. All the ball control, like, and the body control. I think like when you move in the sand, like on soft grounds, you need to have so much more balance and core strength and everything to actually be able to put the ball every time where it needs to go. And all of this transfers to indoor for sure.
In beach, you get when you have like a 1.5 hour training, I think you get like 100 times more touches than you do in indoor. So it's you actually have so many players indoor, and it's the drills are a bit different. So in beach, it's like I think it would be easier to like get a good technical level, like first one. Yeah.
Great. One thing our listeners always love is just a funny story from the road. So they love hearing about obviously the volleyball part and then the results in the competition. But is there any story you can share from either traveling or being around some other people on tour that you kind of thought was like a weird situation? Like we've had Canadians who misbooked their flights and have had to sleep in an airport maybe, or they got stopped at a military stop in Brazil and were being yelled at in Portuguese, like just little things like that. Was there any funny thing that you happen on the road where you're kind of like, wow, is this really professional volleyball? Like, this is what I'm going through right now?
A lot.
Well, this is good. I'm glad we asked. This is kind of our thing. People love a good story from the road.
So where to start from?
Can I tell this one? Can I? What happened in these tournaments? It's not a good story, but
of course.
I don't know. It made me laugh so hard. So we just won Ilas Flygen.
Oh, this okay.
It's not so funny. It's a short one. Just won Ilas Flygen, and Germans, and they were like 3rd seeded. We were like 9th seeded here, so they were favorites there for sure, and they have been playing like really good these last tournaments. And we won them, and we were in the elevator in the hotel with their coach. Their coach came there, congratulated us, and doors closed. We were like totally sealed in this area, and Kusti asks, for some reason, "Are you happy?" And the coach was like, "No, why should I?" And then there was this long, awkward silence until we get out from the elevator. That was hilarious.
Good. Do you have any story you want to share?
Something. Remember when we were in Australia, and we had next tournament was in Florida, USA. We had a training camp in Australia. A training camp, and we didn't have a visa for the United States. Yep, and we wanted to get the visa from Australia, so it wasn't very easy. And it was like we had to go to have like a visa interview there, and we finally got the visa like day before the flight. Like it was like so much confusion and
And this happens a lot. That you book a flights, you know that you're going to go to the tournament, and you're like, do we need a visa there actually? And then they take okay, you do, and we have like maybe 3 days to figure this all out, and or maybe go to a different tournament, but you need to give a passport to it. Like all these kind of things that sometimes happen.
Yeah, that's why we have 2 passports, so we can travel with one, and the other one can be at an embassy to do a visa.
Oh, that's a good way to do it. Because how many events on tour would require a visa? Like when you go to China, you have to have a visa.
China, Russia,
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Actually, we're quite
You
lucky
mentioned
with visas.
USA would require something
yeah,
for you as well.
because why was it? Oh, because we
Went to Iran.
we went to Iran.
Oh, I see.
We
So
couldn't get there without visa anymore.
because there was a tournament in Iran, so now we need a visa to go to the US.
So if you didn't get the visa, you could have arrived on your flight and just been stopped, and they wouldn't allow you in. Would be the situation. Wow.
Yeah.
So pretty serious stuff if you don't take care of the paperwork, right?
Yeah.
Great. Well, I think we've taken lots of your time. What's next for you guys? You mentioned you're going to Vienna, and then anything else you're looking forward to the season? Hopefully, see you in Rome. And what else do you have kind of on the next part of your schedule here?
European champs,
And who's hosting that?
Moscow, Russia. Yep. So that's a big one for us. First European champs. What else?
Moscow 4-star, maybe, probably.
Yeah, it's the week after the European champs.
So pretty much the end of the summer is full. Now tournament after tournament.
Mhm.
Vienna, champs, Moscow, Jurmala, maybe Rome. And there's this China and Mexico
In
October, November. So probably taking one of these as well or both.
You mentioned your first European Championship. Is that because you have to qualify, or you guys have never just had time to go, or what's the situation there that you've never gone to that one?
Yeah, you have to qualify.
Okay, and how through World Tour points, or how does that happen?
Yeah, through World Tour points. It's same entry list. It's a deadline, and first 32 teams, or let's say 29 plus wildcards, get in. And Europe is tough. It's tough to be in top 29 teams in Europe. So this year we were 27 at the time, and we got on.
Wow, congratulations. Yeah, I
Thank you.
guess. So for our listeners, again, being a Canadian-based show, basically you take out Canada, US, Brazil, and then you kind of leave a lot of other countries in, and the European Championships would be really tough.
Yeah.
Is there a cap to how many teams a country can send, or
4, same as
4?
World Tour.
Same as World Tour, so must be a pretty deep tournament. Every match is very meaningful.
Yeah. The pools are like everybody there is like top level player, top level teams. So and Russia is hosting, so sometimes you might get lucky with host country teams, for example, but not there. You have like 6 Russian teams, and they're all really good. So
So the average level could be higher than in the World Champs. Because in the World Champs you have like African teams and
lots of
stuff.
these kind of teams. So average level is really good. Yeah.
And the Olympics. Actually, it's the same.
Yeah.
Olympics. So
Yeah,
so it's higher. Yeah.
good. And just wondering, in Canada, we don't always have the most sponsors, which is funny that you guys actually have sponsors and some funding. Do you think they're attracted to you guys doing well in Europe, or they just like to see you do well on the World Tour? Like, what kind of do you offer your sponsors that they're like willing to support you guys? That maybe you could give a tip to Canada of how we can find some people to support our Olympic goals as well.
I think they just like what we do, and who we are and how we do it.
They want us to do well personally.
Yeah.
So you need to find good people, pretty much, who buy your story, and of course we do as much as we can to offer them some social media and coverage, and also have like yearly sponsor day. That's been like really nice to gather all of them and teach them volley and do some great things together. Sometimes some of them make some cool projects or stories with us for their own page, or summer days, for example, or whatever. So just have offered these possibilities.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And they all take you up on it? Will they teach people in an office how to play volleyball sometimes, or?
Not too often, luckily. Luckily, not too often.
Good. How can Canadian fans become fans of yours so they can follow you on Instagram? I believe you guys have your own team website. Is that true, where you post your own blog stories? Or
Yeah, we do. We do. We did it more in the first years. Now we have posted quite rarely.
Okay.
But still, if there are any Estonian speakers, then I think there's some good stuff actually.
Yeah, the whole beginning of our story is there, like
All the
blog
beginning.
by blog. Yeah, it's a cool story.
Or Google's very good these days. Maybe it'll translate it too, and everybody can follow
Yeah,
that. What is your website actually?
It's Nolvak.Tiisaar.ee. Yeah. But we post more on Facebook.
And Instagram.
And Instagram.
Great. Well, hopefully the Values family seems to be on board with cheering you guys on. Hopefully we can get a few other Canadians to follow you. And this is such a unique story that I hope more volleyball fans start to follow you guys and support you, because I'm mind blown. I had no idea what we were getting into. I just thought you guys would have a federation. You have a coach like everybody else. This is great. So congratulations on your success and for really doing everything on your own, guys. This is great.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here and share this story and maybe inspire somebody to go out there and do it as well. It's worth it. It's really, really good fun and really educating, actually.
It is. You learn a lot.
Perfect. Thanks again, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thanks again to the Estonian team of Nolvak and Tiisaar who joined the show as our first international guests. If this is the first episode of Passing Dimes that you've listened to, be sure to check out previous episodes with superstars TJ Sanders, Brandy Wilkerson, Jesse Elser, Eric Madsen, and super best friend of the show, Ben Saxon, to name a few. Please leave a 5-star review until Dallas's appeal for a 6-star goes through, and as usual, please keep those comments coming. We love hearing from you guys. Thanks to friend of the show, Grant O'Gorman, we have lots more bonus content coming from Edmonton, so be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss any episodes. And as usual, check out new episodes every Friday. Thanks, friends, and stay excellent.